Hey, I'm Josh from Track Monkey, and we're at RPR Automotive, and today we're going to talk suspension setup. And specifically, we're going to look at all the different parts that we are running on our 944 that we run in 944 Cup with PCA Club Racing in SP2. So a lot of this stuff is very specific to what the SP2 rules allow. And I just wanted to caveat everything with the suspension setup. Everything has to work together. So the sway bars that we're running have to work with the spring rates that we're running, and so it has to be looked at as like a total package and not just sway bars by themselves or spring rates by themselves. Everything has to work together, and we've had a lot of success with this setup. So we've had a lot of questions about what kind of different parts we run and what kind of spring rates and coilovers we're using, so we thought we'd put this video together. All right, so in the front here we have a big 30mm sway bar. This, many people say this is probably too big of a sway bar, but it's the first one that we bought when we were first turning this into a DE car, and it's worked well with the car, and we have just, I guess, skimped out on buying something that's adjustable and something that's a lot nicer, because we just stuck with this for the last 7 or 8 years. So big 30mm sway bar here, and I just wanted to point out that we are not running the triangulating braces in the front here. We were running those before, but we found that we are bending this drop link here where the sway bar attaches to the control arm. This link, this bolt here, would completely bend on us severely. And I was talking to Carl Podel at Racer's Edge about this issue, and he asked, "Are you running those triangulating braces?" And I said, "Yep." He said, "That's the reason why." So we got rid of those. No more bent bolts there and at the control arm. All right, so for control arms, we are running Racer's Edge control arms. These are nice, beefy control arms. You might initially think that they're a little pricey when you see the price tag on them, but it's for a good reason. They are very beefy, very sturdy, and they come with a much thicker pin that attaches to your spindle up here. So because of that, you do have to have your drop links machined to fit that thicker spindle, that thicker pin, but that's great to have on the track. That's added insurance when you're hitting all those curves. These are called geometry correcting A-arms, but the SP2 rules for 944 Cup do not allow you to use the geometry correcting aspect of it. So you have to run the stock pin length. But still, like I said, it's thicker, it's beefier, it's gonna hold up a lot better. These control arms also have spherical bearings, and then we're running the Racer's Edge spherical bushings, bearings at the back here as well, where the control arm attaches to at the rear to the frame. Now, if you notice a lot of red clay, that's because we had a little bit of an off at Road Atlanta and picked up some of that good Georgia red clay. All right, so we've also got, you probably noticed in the sway bars, we have the Delrin bushings everywhere. Try to get rid of as much of the rubber as possible. The only rubber in the suspension is right where the sway bar connects to the control arm. On the top part is Delrin bushing, on the lower side is rubber. You gotta have rubber on one side of it so that there's a little bit of flex involved there. At the rear of the car, we're running a Weltmeister adjustable sway bar, and we've got that attached to the torsion tube carrier with these Racer's Edge sway bar mounts. Now, where the torsion tube carrier connects in the front via the spring plate, we've got Racer's Edge spherical bushings right here as well. And then the spring plates also attach up here with these Racer's Edge mounts, if you can see those. And then they also attach up at this upper point with another set of Racer's Edge solid mounts. Okay, you also have these banana arms or rear trailing arms, or rear control arms, whatever you want to call them. But where they attach to the torsion tube carrier, we have some Racer's Edge spherical bushings there as well. Now, the coilovers that we're running are from MCS, and you can purchase those from Racer's Edge, and they are a really cost-effective but high-quality way of getting a good coilover in there if you want to run coilovers at all four corners. In SV2, we're allowed to get rid of the torsion bars, which makes things easier because you don't have to deal with all that indexing and re-indexing. We have two-way adjustable with rebound and compression, and we actually went with the remote reservoir version, and we'll show you what those look like on the top side. Our spring rates, we're running 440 in the front and 650 in the rear. Now again, some people might say that's a little on the stiff side for spring rates. There's a lot of SP1 cars and 944 spec cars that run a much softer suspension, and because they're not allowed to do a lot of what we have in here. Again, this works. It's worked for us. It's performed pretty well, but who knows? Maybe we tried to back off the spring rates a little bit. The car might be a little faster. Who knows? So on the top side of our suspension, you can see our MCS coilovers here and the remote reservoir here. This makes adjustability really easy. You can see compression is this one, rebound over here, and it's very easy to adjust these. We've also got Racer's Edge camber plates that tie in very well with a Brey-Krause upper strut tower bar. For the rear coilovers, we've got our remote reservoirs attached to the part of the cage there. And again, on the remote reservoir, you have your compression setting. So I also want to point out, if you delete your torsion bars and you're putting in coilovers, you're going to need a Racer's Edge lower shock mount adapter. This will beef up this bolt right here and provide you with the extra clearance you need in order to get your spring to travel past your trailing arm. Okay, so that wraps up our suspension video. You may have noticed that a lot of the parts on our car are from Racer's Edge. Racer's Edge is owned by Carl Podol, who is not only an extremely talented mechanical engineer and suspension guru, but he is also an extremely fast race car driver, and he's always winning. So if you have any questions or inquiries about specific parts or your specific application with your car, you can check out racersedge-inc.com, and don't feel free to call Carl Podol and run questions by him. He's always more than willing to help everyone out with their suspension setups. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.